so we will address that now. But if you are into sports and into ASMR, this is the channel for you. We talk about everything, mostly football related. I am gonna probably do some MLB predictions, and when the NBA starts, we'll talk about that. I am not super deep into the NHL, but I will try, and I am trying to get into the Premier League, but sometimes I get a little ADHD with soccer. But if that sounds good to you guys, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and comment down below. What game did you guys enjoy the most out of week 3? I do have a little bit of housekeeping. Subscribing is great. I'm trying to grow the channel. This is the community that we're growing, talking about sports, and I love everything about it. I am back from vacation, and but with that being said, I probably will only have maybe 2 or 3 videos this week. While I was on vacation, my grandmother sadly passed away, and I have to go to Wisconsin for the funeral, which is on Sunday. So, you know, that's a thing that's happening. So to honor her tonight, I am wearing she gave me this Brewers hat. If I remember, I'll put a picture of her wearing it. She gave it to me the last time I saw her, and I just wanted to wear it tonight to honor her. She has lived a long life. She was 94 years old, and as sad as it is, and as awful as things like this can be for a person, I just remember all the good times that we had together. I'll tell you a quick story. She is a big Brewers fan, and I am also a big Brewers fan, but along with being a Brewers fan, I am a fan of players, and I was a huge, and I still am a huge Nomar Garcia Parra fan. I think it just had to deal with the fact that I was a big Mia Hamm fan, and they were dating and got married, and he was playing with the Dodgers at the time, but he was on IR. But the Dodgers and the Brewers were playing in Milwaukee when I was visiting, and my brother and I decided that we should take my grandma, and we were sitting in the bleachers. And if you've ever been to AmFam, or what was known as Miller Park, the bleachers is a whole different level. It's so fun. It's so fun. The Brewers fans are so fun. My brother had a beer spilled on him from the upper level, so that was the start of it. And then I was cheering for the Brewers, but I was also cheering for the Dodgers. That was the time that Manny Ramirez was there, and some other big time players. Anyway, Adrian Gonzalez. I think Adrian Gonzalez. I could be wrong on that one. But we were sitting in the outfield because I wanted to be in the outfield, and we were right behind Manny Ramirez, which was so much fun. But the Dodgers were hitting, and Manny Ramirez hit a home run, and I stood up to cheer, and my grandmother looked at me and she said, "Sit down, you little asshole." And to this day, that was maybe, I don't know, 15 years ago. To this day, it's a story that I'd laugh at and tell. She was such a great lady. So this video is in honor of her. I know it's NFL, but fantasy, I got blown out again. I'm 1-2, and I'm not too sure what to do, but that is another video and another rant and ramble that we will get into a little bit later in the week with the Bills beat the Dolphins 31-21. I think that's like how we all thought it was going to be. I think the Dolphins are not a good team. I think Tua makes bad choices, and he's part of the problem. I love Tua as an Alabama fan, but he's just, I don't think he's that guy, and I think that the Dolphins are either going to have to move on from the head coach or move on from Tua, but I think he signed an extension, so I don't know how possible that is. The Bills are a force right now. They're great, and I love him. The Browns and the Packers lost to the Browns 10-13. I watched part of the game. You could kind of see that it was going to be more of a defensive game from the start. So it didn't surprise me that the Packers lost. It was a disappointing loss. They had the lead, I mean, for the majority of the game, and then just kind of lost it in the fourth. The Browns defense is no joke. I think at the time of recording this, they are the number one defense in the league, and it shows, and they are great. I mean, defense wins championships, so I wouldn't put it past the Browns to make the playoffs. It's crazy. I feel like this year's a little crazy right now. The Bengals and the Vikings. The Vikings demolished the Bengals 48-10. Yeah, I didn't see the game, but I think the Bengals are gonna have a big issue without Joe Burrow, and I think he's out for most of the season. So I feel like this is a wash year for the Bengals. The Vikings look good. The Steelers and the Patriots. Rodgers surpassed Barr for fourth most touchdowns in the league, which is crazy. Congratulations to Rodgers. I think they're quietly a good team. There's nothing flashy about them, but they're good. I mean, Mike Tomlin, year in and year out, is consistently a 9-win team, 8-win team, 10-win team, year in and year out. So, and the Patriots are the Patriots. I think they're gonna have their ebbs and flows. It is what it is. The Colts and the Titans. The Colts are I think they're like my surprise team. They're good. Danny Dimes is making the Giants and kind of look bad right now. You put weapons and a line and things around a player, and it's surprising. Look at Geno, look at Sam. I mean, you look at all these quarterbacks that go to different teams and they can just thrive. It's all about coaching, and the Giants are the Giants. The Titans, again, I don't think they're going to be good. The Cam Ward shows flashes. I think that this is a growing year, but I don't know if their head coach makes it out of this growing year. But you know, it's a growing year. But the Colts are crazy good right now. The Texans and the Jaguars. I watched a video. I didn't finish it, and I don't know where it is, but they're saying CJ Stroud is taking a big step back. Now, I haven't watched any of the Texans games, and the Jaguars are, I don't watch Jaguars games either, but let me know if CJ Stroud looks like he's taking a step back or what's going on with the Texans. And the Jaguars, I guess they're like some of the videos that I've seen and articles that Travis Hunter is kind of struggling. Again, in fantasy football, in my league, he can play both sides of the ball, and you can get scored for both sides. As of right now, I think he's averaging like 7 points. But the Jaguars beat the Texans. You have the Panthers and the Falcons. The Falcons did not look good at all. At all. Did they look good? I mean, I want to see Bryce. I'm gonna see Bryce Young's. I got it right here. I want to see Bryce Young's box score. Michael Penix went 18 for 36, 172 yards and two interceptions. Bijan, they gotta get Bijan involved more. I mean, I know he had 13 carries for 72 yards, but like, you gotta get him involved. Drake London had 5 receptions for 55 yards. Darnell Mooney touchdowns or anything. They kind of focused on, it looks like, the run game. I mean, I don't know. That's crazy. Chuba Hubbard, 17 carries, 73 yards. Rico Dowdle, 10 carries for 30 yards and a touchdown. Bryce Young scored a touchdown, which I did see that play. That was great. McMillan, I think eventually he'll have a solid game. 3 receptions for 48 yards. I mean, Trevor Etienne had a fumble and lost it. I feel like their defense is like stepping up too. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch more Panthers games. But the Falcons didn't look good, and then they got rid of Young Waco. And their field goal kicker missed from what I saw, he missed a few, or at least one. He missed at least one. The Eagles and the Rams was crazy. I think 6 of these games were figured out in the last 2 minutes, and there was a bunch of block kicks. That's crazy. I mean, you go back to the Packers game, block kick, that's the difference in a game. The Eagles and the Rams, I turned the Eagles game off because I thought they were going to get blown out in the first quarter, or in the first half. They turned around. Jordan Davis, was it Jordan Davis that had that fumble, and then he ran. I guess he averaged 18 miles per hour as he was running or something like that. I don't know. It's crazy. Big men can run. I do think the Eagles have weaknesses, but I also think that they're probably still the team to beat. The Jets and the Buccaneers, that was a close game. I think it went back and forth, and then Baker kind of won it for everybody. I think Baker was even their defensive coordinator was the head coach when I was with the Panthers, and he cut me. But Baker's looking like a resurgent. Baker, Sam, Gino, they all have had resurgence when they leave the organizations that have held them back. New York organizations have held them back. The Raiders and the Commanders. The Raiders got pummeled 41-24. I feel like, and that was without Jaden Daniels. That was Marcus Mariota. But I feel like the Raiders, they can be a good team. They just have to put all the pieces together. They don't. I feel like they don't have an offensive line for Gino and Genty, so that's what's kind of holding them back. If they can get that all together, they will be a formidable force in the future. The Commanders proved to everybody they don't really need. I mean, Jaden Daniels is. I'm not saying they don't need him. I'm just saying they can play without him. Gino went 19 of 29 for 289 yards, 3 touchdowns. Genty had 17 carries for 63 yards. If he could just pop one of those, man, I think that's all he needs is to break that seal, and it'll be all gravy from there. Trey Tucker had a game. He had a game. 8 receptions, 145 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Max the Chargers and the Broncos. The Chargers won 23-20. Let's see here. Bo Nix. Bo Nix is not having. I mean, he's good. He's just, I don't know. I was thinking about dropping him. J.K. Dobbins is my dude right now. He had 11 carries for 83 yards and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton, 6 receptions for 118 yards and a touchdown. And then I think like Justin Herbert is like the golden child right now. 28 of 47 for 300 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Amarion Hampton had 19 carries, 70 yards and a touchdown. Keenan Allen was the wide receiver with the touchdown, 7 receptions, 65 yards. Quinn Johnson, 6 receptions, 89 yards. Lad McConkey seems to be not the guy right now like he was last year, but I think it's just because Quinn Johnson is stepping up and Keenan Allen is back, and Keenan Allen is like a reliable vet. So, you know, I think the Chargers are great. Harbaugh is, if you look at it, what he did with San Francisco, I think like his first year wasn't great, but then he like grew. I think that's what we're gonna see here. The Seahawks beat the Saints 44-13. Sam Darnold is having a good year. The 49ers Cardinals 16-15, and the 49ers lost Nick Bosa for the rest of the year. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes and affects their defense. The Bears annihilated the Cowboys 31-14 to the point where, now this is just from my dad, who was also mistaking Parsons for Prescott. He said that Prescott got benched, but I don't know when that happened. Prescott threw for 2 interceptions, and they lost CeeDee Lamb for 2 weeks, or 2 to 4 weeks. And going back to the Buccaneers, as we're recording this, Mike Evans is out for like, I think, 4 weeks. You have the Chiefs and the Giants. That was, I mean, you could have seen this coming. It was 22-9. I think Jackson Dart is now the starter in New York, which I think is a good thing. It's crazy how like Russell Wilson can go from like top tier talent to Sean Payton didn't want to work with him, Pete Carroll didn't want to work with him, Mike Tomlin's like, no, we're gonna move on to Aaron Rodgers, and now the Giants are like, nope. He took such a fall from grace, it's crazy. But the Giants got to see what they have in Jackson Dart, especially going into this upcoming draft where the QB selections might be a little bit better, but you don't know. And then I did watch the Ravens and the Lions. I think the Lions against the Packers was like just like opening day jitters. The Lions are going to be a force. Their defense, Aiden Hutchinson is back, and he made a big difference in that game. He was all over the place. I do think that both teams have issues in the secondary, and if it comes out down to like a shootout, it'll be crazy. It was kind of a shootout yesterday. It was almost going to who's gonna have the ball last until Derrick Henry fumbled the ball. I think that the secondary on both teams is the issue. I think their offenses are well-oiled machines. I think there's like, who are you gonna stop on either side? The Lions ended up winning. I think it was 38-31. But basically midway through the fourth quarter, the Lions had the game in hand. Derrick Henry, who doesn't fumble, has fumbled in 3 games, like all 3 games. I think he's the only running back that has fumbled in the first 3 games in NFL history. It's crazy. But that's the difference of the game. Other than that, it was a back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. They have issues. Both teams have issues in the secondary. It was like, if you could appreciate you